All right, we are live. Greetings, fellow traders. Let me get this tweeted out so everybody can join in here. 1 second. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. Let's see if this is coming through okay. Sound check, sound check. Make sure you got some clarity here. Let's see if this is coming through okay. Good, good, good. Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody had a great trading day today. So here we are, continuing our discussion on gap strategies. And so today we're going to talk about other gaps. All right, we started to talk about this the other day, yesterday, and just going to kind of elaborate on it a little bit more today. So it's a really cool technique and one to definitely take note of, especially on earnings gaps. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Before we do, everything we're going to talk about today is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Thank you, Michael. Good, good, good. Hey, guys. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, so we're going to take a look and see where we left off the market, and then we're going to go over the topic, and then we'll take questions and chart requests. So let's get started. So here we go. So this is where we are in the market here after today. So here's the monthly chart on SPX. We are holding the monthly cloud. We're holding the macro, super duper macro trend line right here from back from the 2009 lows. Right, here's your monthly chart, right, with the monthly trend line. And so we have made a good headway into the range of the Corona crash. So a little bit of a reversal up here off of the mid Bollinger Band on the monthly chart, and that's where we are. So, but at least we're over that 50 moving average there. So we're out of that bear market area. Weekly chart, some decent follow through here. Some decent follow through here as we moved off of the bullish engulfing candle here when RSI was oversold, and have worked our way up pretty nicely off of that. We had a hammer week last week. We failed to break down below the lows, which is good. We still have an inside week so far. We are still below the 30 weekly moving average right here, which is your kind of change in composure line right there. It'd be nice to get above that, right? So we do have open gaps here too on the weekly chart, and those do like to get filled. Okay, so daily chart, very, very important stuff right here. So today was an interesting day. So narrow range day. Today's range was, it ended up not being as narrow as it was earlier today, but 39 points, 39 and 15 cents. And narrowest range since the entire Corona crash, right? This one right here was 40, so we beat that by a point right there. And then not until we started to break down, right here we had a 32 range day, right? And then we got the 45 range day, 73 range day, 145, 218, right? So pretty narrow range day today, which is interesting, right? So yesterday we broke down below the upward trend line, right? But we always wait, before we look for a trend change, we always wait for confirmation or at least a momentum move through those levels, right? And so yesterday was not the indication to get short on the market, right? And so what they did is they trapped a lot of bears on this. This is very common on these trend line breakdowns, right? So that's what we need to see, right? So we that is a key area. You know, if we do stay bearish, if we do get bearish tomorrow or the next couple days, right? That's a key line right there, 27, 27, and 10 cents. So we need to see if we break down below there. Interestingly enough, we came back and we retested the upper trend line right here and the cloud, right? So this cloud, remember we talked about that in the trend series. Right, so this is trending down. So we're kind of coming back to that reminder area that, hey, wait a second, guys, we're coming into some selling pressure from before, like over here, right? We're coming into that area. So again, it's a nice reminder here that we may be heading into some selling pressure. We're getting a little, kind of into some interesting areas. You get your 50 moving average right here. We're below the trend line, so very, very key area right here. I'd love to see us, on the bullish argument here, get above all this stuff, get above the cloud, get back above the trend line, at least make another shot here at the 200 moving average, and then kind of go from there. But right now we're kind of in an iffy area, and we had a very choppy day today, so the price today was very sketchy trying to get up here. There was low volume getting up there. So let's take a look there at the that price action here today. So it was very tough, right? So it was green, red, red, right? Green, red, right? So this makes it very tough to trade with options. It wasn't just like any breakout moves today. So we gapped up today, and it looked like we were going to reverse. That's a real nasty candle there. It looks like, hey, maybe we could go ahead and, try to fill that closing gap below. And, we just couldn't get there, right? So they kind of ticked down low there and then reversed quickly off of it, got back into that 15 orb range, and then chopped their way up for the rest of the day. Pretty interesting stuff, though, how it held the ADMA here on the 15 for the majority of the day. So that kind of gives you a little bit of sentiment going throughout the range there. So these are the levels that we provide to our members before each market open, and you can see here that we basically just worked our way from this open gap window here and came up all the way to the R2 level and then came back down. So so pretty interesting price action day. Very, very challenging price action. Made it tough, right? Because every little breakout had this upper shadow, and it just made it really challenging. Not until here, a little bit later in the day, right, did we get that final push. But even there, it was like green, red, green, red, green, green, red. It made it very, very challenging with options today. So this is kind of one of those days where you have to recognize the chop. Recognize by looking at the recognizing that the volume was low, guys. So when that volume is low after 10 o'clock, so you can go to like the S&P futures here, which we'll take a look at now. So you go to the S&P futures here, you can see throughout the day, right, that after 10 o'clock, the volume of each candle was pretty rough, right? I mean, this is low volume type stuff right here. This was not a day that they were trying to bust out, right? And then of course we got some end of the day shenanigans. But I mean, your volume on each of these candles here is like 14,000, 7,000, right? We want like 30,000, 35,000 if this thing's ready to go, right? And it just didn't happen, right? So I mean, you go back, just go back in time a little bit here, to I mean, even yesterday here, you had a little bit better. I mean, 20,000 is even better than the day, right? So you get these kind of bigger breakout moves, right? You start to see, some bigger volume coming in that to at least try to attempt those breakdowns. And the breakdown moves here, I mean, some of these volume here was pretty decent, right? So here you had like 34,000, right? That shows that this thing is trying to push, right? And so that's kind of a key indicator right there today to show that we're going into the chop zone. So anyway, so pretty interesting stuff. So where are we right now? In terms of the future? So we actually went green. We went red to green today. So we broke out of this downward trend line this evening. Okay, and this big downward trend line right here is a geometric line. And right off of these levels, we got a nice candle right here. Volume started to pick up, and we started to break out here tonight. So got a little follow through there, a little bit of a pull back to the ADMA now on the futures chart, and now we're up. We're back to green again. So let's see if that can get any strength into tonight. So here's a trend line we're going to be kind of tracking throughout the night to see how that holds going into tomorrow. So good stuff. Okay, so today we're going to continue our discussion here on trading gap strategies with other gaps. So what do we mean by this? So basically we talked about it yesterday. So just going to show a few more examples today what we mean by that. So this is what we're talking about here. So when you gap, right, especially on earnings, there's so much volatility that is cooked into those earnings moves that oftentimes you can set other gaps as targets, right? Especially if the price action warrants it. So it's a very good thing, especially if you're looking to trade a gap trade on a day, particularly earnings, to look and see where those other open gaps are, okay? And then look at those as potential targets. So let's go through let's talk about a couple examples here. So one of the recent ones was today, right? We looked at this yesterday, right? So fingers were doing automatic programming there for SPX. Okay, so Snap. What a move today. Just an epic move today. Look at this on the 5-minute chart. So if you go to the 15, in fact, look at how nicely this held this 15 moving average just for the majority of the day. The only time it broke down below the 15 EMA, I'm sorry, the ADMA here on the 15 chart, was this pullback here. But this is great, right? Because this is a very, very bullish move. This tagged the 15 orb high right here, right? The high of that 15-minute candle, right? And that's where it bounced. So you get this nice move, this nice breakout move off the open right here, double inside 15 up. And look at this pullback did. Pulled back right to that 15 orb high and then bounced off of it and then held that ADMA for the rest of the day. Just a beautiful move on Snap. So what did it do today? We talked about it last night, right? So when we were talking about gap strategy, like where is Snap going, right? We looked at it. Well, let's see if it can get over the 200 moving average. Well, it got over the 200 moving average today. If it couldn't do that, right, we were expecting a reversal, but it did, right? This is a very, very key algo line right there that this thing got above. And so then at this point here, when we're moving, right, we look for open gaps for it to trade. So what did it do, right? It came right here, right? We gapped, it failed to break down, it held the 200 moving average. Where's the next gap up? Right here. Okay, so what did it do? It filled that really quickly. This is a key area for this to go, right? So it got that right there. All right, then it got over that, right? So where did that correspond to here today? So where was the 15 order today? 1565. Okay, so this right here, the low right here was 1543. So what a great area, right? Once it held that and came back and hit that 15 orb high, which was above this gap, right? We go to the next gap right here. This is great, right? So the high right here was 1650. The low here was 1691. So you have a gap right here at 1691. Okay, so it goes right for that next gap. This is great. These are great. You don't get this every day, especially with a stock like Snap. Snap can just chop around, and it's cheap and it's tough. But look at that. It went right for that gap right there. right? Just beautiful stuff. So it tagged two open gaps right there. Those are great. If you can hold a key level like this, targeting those other gaps is a fantastic technique. Okay, so that was a nice move on Snap today, and this happens all the time, especially on earnings gaps, right? So let's take a look at J.P. Morgan the other day, right? Okay, so J.P. Morgan the other day, earnings move right here. Okay, here's your earnings day right here. Okay, so it was we had an interesting day right here, but it basically, let me just double check this right here. Open 103, close. Yeah, so it closed down right here. We gapped up on bad earnings, right? The abominable earnings on JP Morgan, right? So it didn't have a huge gap. It had a closing gap right here. But what does it do in that earnings volatility, right? It came back and look at that, targeted that gap right away right there when we were pushing down. So once this thing lost strength that day, right here at, we can kind of look at it. Let's pull it up right here on the default chart here. So that high there was 94.86. Okay, so 94.86, so it's pretty close right there, right? So if you go back here on the 14th, okay, so let's see if we can get back here to the 14th, 16th, 15th. Got to go back one more day. Okay, let's go there, back to the 14th. All right, here we are. Okay, so where's that gap level right here? Right here. Okay, so this is that 94 level, 94.86, whatever that case is, right? So when you mark these on your charts on those days, if you're tracking these moves, look at this. I mean, just beautiful, right? Here's your pre-market box right here. Okay, so that's a nice little target. Right, you had this inside 15 off of shooting star, which couldn't hold the pre-market levels, so not a shooting star, spinning top, but a big upper shadow right here. Rejected that, came back down, and give you an inside 15 here for a fast breakdown here. Where's it going? Right, well, it wants to do something, right? So when the volatility is high, right, it targeted that open gap, which was this line right here. Boom, there's your trade. Perfect trade on that day, and then it just kind of blah for the rest of the day. But that's where you can catch those moves. Very, very effective strategy for managing gaps, especially on earnings. Let's take a look at one more. Love this example because Roku is pretty fantastic on its last earnings report and what it did. Right, so it was a great example of a reversal, right? Because we gapped up and we couldn't get above here. Okay, because we couldn't get above here, that gap, right? It couldn't get there. It found too much resistance, and then it started to move down. So where's it going to go, right? What do we got right there? Open gap right here. Beautiful. Right at the low of the day. It's crazy to think that it would move like this. I mean, that was a big candle on Roku, right? The high right there was 133.39. Right, we gapped up and flushed down. Once we got through all these other key levels, what a great target right there. And then once it hit that, it was just kind of calmed down because it's like, okay, we've got some buying pressure in these areas. And that was it. So it made its move for the day. But what a great place to do when you have these crazy gaps, right? So this is a great combination of these two techniques. Gap up, reversal, couldn't get over these levels, and then target the next open gap right there. Beautiful, beautiful targets when you see these, these big jumps on earnings when all that volatility is real high. So good stuff. So good technique, definitely a good one, to add to the toolkit and keep an eye out for the next gaps. So at this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can. Try to wrap up as early as possible so we can all get a good night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. So good. All right. So Shirley sent a few in here by email. So let's take a look here. Facebook. How about Facebook coming alive today a little bit? That was nice to see. So it got, we gapped up, right? And it started to push. It didn't gap above the pivot level right here, but it definitely gave some work there to try to get its way up there. Okay? So showing some strength here. It doesn't have the strongest trend line in the world, but it has a little bit of a bump line working right here. So it's definitely bullish. It'll prove nice upper shadow at the cloud. Okay, but generally it's trending up right now. Okay, this is a great move here on... let me go back to the 5-day 15 here so it doesn't clog up our timing. Okay, so pretty decent move today, right? It got to the 15-orb high. Inside 50, held really well. This is a nice candle right here. Good increasing volume, right? And that got us up pretty close to the next level right here. So decent little trade here on Facebook today. Good opportunity on that. But yeah, so still holding trend on Facebook. GDX, I see you got a lot of gold ones on it. So GDX, what a close today. Okay, now GDX, the gold stocks can be very, very tricky. But I believe this is one of the more recent highs. If we go back to the monthly chart here, We can take a real quick look and see where this thing has been. Yeah, so we're not all-time highs on this thing by any stretch of the imagination, but so far this month is very, very strong on it. And the fact that gold has been kind of trickling up here is definitely a consideration going forward. So this is a nice breakout level right here. Let's see if we can get some more upside movement on that. Remember, we looked at that bull flag yesterday, so nice follow through today on GDX. And of course, the other ones are going to be interesting as well. So Nugget, really, really close to getting out of this pivot level. It might have done it if this trend line is not quite perfect here. So the high here, 1264. Today's close, 1278. So we are out of this this channel right now, briefly, with some decent volume. So keep an eye on Nugget tomorrow. I think it's good enough to put on the radar for Thursday. So let me get that on there. If it's strong. Okay, so let's put Nugget on there. That could be interesting. Nugget, actually GDX is pretty nice too. Nugget, GDX, those are looking pretty good. Okay, let's get those on there. Okay, let's get this ready for later. Okay, good. Yeah, so Nugget, nice. And then gold, of course. Good, yeah, wow, great move on gold right there. This thing was just gearing up. I'm just getting really strong right here. You kind of put a little bull flag together on that one. So nice move on gold today, as that is continuing to show relative strength here. And then NEM, another mining stock right here. Yeah, decent move here out of this this pennant formation here, this triangle. So that's looking pretty good. I would like to see more volume on this one. So not as good as some of the other ones. But definitely, working on still holding trend right here. So let's get our trend line up on this. Low, high, there. So holding trend pretty well there. So looking good in the neighborhood. Good stuff, Shirley. Thank you so much. And then Scott sent one in through Twitter. So let's take a look at Baidu. Guys, Baidu. Just honestly, for me, it's hands off of every Chinese name, right? Maybe JD, right? Because the spreads can be okay, but unless we see something amazing or some amazing news or something like that, this Baidu is just in the chop slop right here, right? Big range right now that it's forming with some crazy ups and downs, big upper shadows here. Again, this one's got to start closing strong if this thing wants to get going. Now, it is a shooting star type pattern right here, but again, how far is it going to go, right? Kind of test these levels maybe down here. So it's not just compelling yet for an overnight, but you do have a gap down here below here. So if this thing does start to get weak, right, that might be an interesting target. So let's see how it does going into earnings. Good stuff. Yeah, Michael, good evening. Good to see you, man. Thanks for tuning in. Rocky, what's going on? S-Bucks, is it time to buy the drip? They bought the drip a little bit today. So a little bit of a Morningstar reversal type style right here. Now, granted, it wasn't in a downtrend, but it was sort of a little bit of a smaller downtrend right there. But yeah, nice move here, right? Good strong close, good volume above the cloud over the 50 moving average. Just be careful with these declining 50 moving averages. Sometimes those closes above there can end up being a little bit of a reversal. Usually we want to see that 50 at least start to flatten out a little bit or start to move up. But definitely a strong close today, so a good one to keep an eye on right there. Nice on Starbucks. And then DPX. What am I missing on DPX? Not sure. But anyway, good stuff. Yeah, appreciate it. Michael, awesome. Zach, Snap. Yeah, I mean, Snap was just epic today. Really incredible move today. Huge move for Snap. A rarity. Right, I think the last big move was down at the lows right here. But strong move right there. This affected a lot of other good ones too. Twitter had an awesome setup today. Facebook had some strength. So, Facebook inherited some of that strength here from Snap today, like talking about ad revenue doing good. So great volume on this one today. Wouldn't be surprised to see it consolidate a little bit. I think it even had a downgrade this morning. Talk about a miss on that one this morning. Let me see what it said here this morning. Maintain. Somebody raised the price. That was later. Raised price target. I thought they had somebody down. Yeah, here, Credit Suisse. Well, they missed the number on that one. Oh, we're lowering the price target, right? So, but they lowered it to 18. It's okay. But that was a big move right there on Snap. So let's see if we can get some follow through on that one. Facebook, we just glanced at a little bit before, but that had some strength thanks to Snap and the ad revenue talking. I'm just going to hit Twitter real quick. One of our members pointed this one out today for a great trade. Right, nice strength on Twitter today. For a swing, we got to be careful right here. It's coming right into the cloud. 50 moving average, got some levels right here. But it was a great intraday trade on Twitter. Lots of good momentum coming in from last night from the Snap report. And then gold, yeah, gold really, really strong here. Nice volume, good close over these pivot levels to see if that can get some follow through into tomorrow. And then SPCE, SPIS. Inside day holding the 21 EMA right here. Kind of blah, right? I mean, you can kind of actually make like a big triangle right there. So let's see if we can break out of this one way or the other. Good stuff. Rich, what's going on? Good evening. Thanks for tuning in, man. Zoom. Let's take a look at Zoom. Yeah, pretty decent day for Zoom today. Bounced off of its ADMA again. Inside day. So definitely one to keep an eye on tomorrow. See if that could break to the upside there. And then Apple. Apple finally woke up a little bit today. 7 points up with that from the gap. So a tricky area here, right? As it's right in the cloud, just like the SPY and all that stuff. So we're seeing a lot of similar chart patterns here across the board. But it did kind of get over this UTL right here. So let's see if it can hold that and try to get over the back over the cloud. You know, Apple's gonna be a nice go-to one once it really closes strong. I'd like to see that 50 moving average start to work its way up. Might have to wait till earnings on this thing to get going again. Anyway, good stuff. Dan A, what's going on? Kroger. Wow, this thing's really getting kind of range bound in here. It's this crazy diamond pattern. This has been essentially a Corona play right here. But recent position by Warren Buffett. So he's probably just watching this thing. He's like, yeah, eventually it'll break out of this this channel right here. And so let's wait and see if we can do that. Okay, because right now it's just kind of chopping around. So definitely one to keep an eye on right there. Good, yeah, my pleasure. DPZ. Okay, I gotcha. I know, sometimes I'm like, okay, I think I know what you're talking about. And then, like, sometimes it's like, it just feels late, and I'm like, But yeah, okay, cool. All right, yeah, nice little pizza pie pattern right here, right? Looks like, hands flipping a pizza, right? Anyway, but yeah, so nice close today. Good volume. Earnings coming up tomorrow. So good. That should be on the 15 orb radar for tomorrow for sure. I believe it's tomorrow. Was it tonight or tomorrow? Sorry, guys. Yeah, before the market opened. So good. So definitely want to keep an eye on there. I like where it closed today. Good volume. Let's see if we can get some action after earnings tomorrow. Good. Reed, yeah, exactly. Very, very challenging day. It wasn't just you. I mean, anybody. I mean, I was just like, on a lot of the price action today. So it stinks, because you want to jump in everything, especially like SPY. So that's why you kind of have to like look at stuff like, all right, what's going on the go-to list, right? Where's everything trending, right? Like go back and look at Twitter on both of the our charts there, the XC charts, and just look at that momentum going into the open today, and you'll look at Twitter and be like, oh man, awesome. And then Snap, of course, knowing that what was going on with Snap today. But other than that, those are kind of like the big ones today. And then a couple other ones that we pointed out too, like Chewy and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a tricky day today for sure. Easthoff, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, AMT had a strong day today. I didn't see how they closed. Yeah, they pulled back a little bit there. But decent move right here. Kind of like a Morningstar reversal-ish type pattern right here. Of course, it's not at the bottom of a trend. But yeah, I mean, really, it looks like it's forming like a bull flag right here. And so let's see if it gets a follow through. I like the volume today, and that looks pretty good, right? If it wants to get some strength tomorrow. And then Adobe. Yeah, Adobe had a decent reversal from the lows yesterday after it hit the 21 EMA, and then gap up today. It's holding the 50 right now. It's holding the cloud inside day. Watch out, we're coming over the cloud cliff right here. But other than that, pretty decent if we can break out above today's highs. Michael, yeah, let's take a look at Walmart. Yep, Walmart held up pretty well today. Decent move, low volume today, but still holding. Showing that it's still holding. That's good. And then PayPal, such a tricky one to trade, but finally had a nice breakout candle here today. So see if that gets any follow through. But it likes to do this. I mean, look at this. It had this great breakout candle right here, right? And then it's like, blah. Great breakout candle right here, blah. Right? Great breakout candle. This is such a tough one to trade, but it is a nice candle. See if you get a little bit of follow through. Just be careful with your stops on that one. And then FSLY. Everybody asks about this. Fastly. What do these guys do? I'm just gonna. This is what everybody asks about this. Let me take a look at this. Fastly is a real-time content delivery network, CDN. The company provides services in the areas of delivery, security, streaming media, e-commerce, private CDN. With Fastly, the user can manage traffic spikes and mitigate security risks. Okay. Sounds exciting. Yeah, so let's see here. So pretty decent move right here. Held the ADMA. Green candle today. It's right at that trend line again. So let's just see how it holds that. Make sure it's not tagging it. Looking for a reversal down on that one. Very, very interesting. Good. Bagash, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in, man. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, let's take a look at LRCX. Hey, nice move today. So good little semiconductor, kind of reworking its thing right here. So it's just, I would get, this is not, a true trend line right here. This is a geometric line. Just kind of see how it handles like that. It's coming right into resistance. We've got earnings. We had earnings today, after hours. So what's that doing after hours here? Blah. So, but we could definitely keep an eye on it, see if it does anything interesting tomorrow. It's a tricky one to trade. Sometimes the spreads get a little bit funky on this one. Okay, good. And then Tesla. Let's take a look at Tesla. Okay, so Tesla did pretty well today, up 45 points, right? It was a little bit sketchy yesterday, but it did hold the cloud. It held its gap support, right? And then you had a nice little gap up and then a little bit down move today. It triangulated today and then had a great breakout today, guys. Look at this. Awesome move today. So it's drifting down a little bit after hours, but Tesla could do anything. But inside day today, see if it gets over today's highs to give it a little extra move off of that one. Netflix after earnings today, blah, right? Pull back, but Netflix oftentimes after earnings will do a little bit of a blah type thing like this. So this is a little bit more amplified, but here, just blah. And then it started going to a big move the next day. I mean, it had good earnings. So keep an eye on this one for a potential surprise move going into tomorrow or the next day. And then see, it could be a fun Friday lotto trade too. CRWD's trying, right? Bunch of levels up here. Okay, there, and there, and there. Okay, so it's getting there. Inside day right here. It's had an epic really run from the lows. So again, just see if it continues to hold your trend here. Okay, keep an eye on the inside day. Yeah, good. Yeah, my pleasure. Good stuff. Jay, what's going on? CMG. That's right. Yeah, CMG had earnings today. It actually had a pretty epic move, guys. Pretty epic move right here. Gap, and then it did go a little bit today. So again, let's take a look here. So the lows here, we talked about this gap yesterday here. It didn't quite wasn't quite enough here, but where did we end up? So the highs right here couldn't quite, just held. And we talked about this fib fan line, how CMG loves this fib fan line, right? It's like every time it hits that fib fan line, it bounce, right? And then once it gets gap below it, down, right, hit that fib fan line, bounce, worked its way up. So it got to a new fib fan line. It's kind of holding that pretty well right there. So looks pretty good. Looks strong going into, definitely showing some strength right there. So, and then let's take the shop. I have no idea how they stayed in business. I mean, did anybody even go to? I guess you could get delivery from CMG. Anyway, shop huge. Remember that bearish engulfing candle yesterday? Again, it's a long ways away from the low. Inside day today, so just kind of consolidated today. So keep an eye on those inside day levels for shop for tomorrow. And then Amazonius, very, very similar to shop, an inside day right here after that crazy candle yesterday. So see how that holds, see if it breaks out one way or the other tomorrow. The Nest, what's going on? LVGO, let's take a look. Inside day there at the lower end of the range, but it is holding the ADMA right here, and it is holding its trend line, so that's good. Work, how's that do today? Did that recover at all? Not really. Kind of blah, right? Inside day at the low end of the range. So keep an eye on that one. If that breaks down, it may want to come down and test 50, 200-day moving averages, right? And then it's got this nice canyon right here for the cloud. So that could be interesting there. And then Lake. I think everybody's going to keep asking about Lake until it does something, and that's good. It shows that you're watching it, right? Very, very, very tight range bound right here. Here's your triangle, up, down. Let's see if we can go one way or the other. Okay, so that could be interesting as well. Devin, what's going on? Yeah, Mr. Softy, Microsoft. Let's take a look. Yeah, it hung in there today, right? Nasty candle yesterday, good gap up, held the ADMA, gap above too. So if it breaks over today's high, that might be a potential target on that one. Tracy, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. BIIB. Yeah, BIIB, I think, hit the short radar today, and I think you can see why. So down off of earnings today. I think they actually had good year-over-year earnings, but anyway, gapped right down below that upper trend line right there. Upper shadow, and then blah today. So it basically came back down, held these levels pretty well. Gave you a good lower shadow here. So let's see if we can get try to build some strength off of that. And work its way up into the cloud. And then BYND, absolutely. So Beyond, not too bad. Inside day today, but green. Holding its 50 moving average right here. Right, we had this gap up right here. And just kind of hanging out at the cloud here with an inside day. So let's see how that moves going forward. Keep an eye on the highs and lows of that one. See if you can get a breakout move. A break move up might be nice, as it tries to continue to work its way up out of the cloud and possibly do that prior reversal pivot right there. The Nest, yeah, Piton. I'm going downhill now. So upper shadow right here. Inside day so far, it is holding, some prior levels right here and had some lower shadows here to kind of contend with. But right now it's just kind of in the blah zone. So something to be interesting right here. It might be working on a larger, kind of cup and handle pattern, right? Here's your cup. Maybe here's your handle right here. So just kind of see how that holds. We got a couple fib fan lines here that are kind of pointing it up. So generally uptrending, right? So you get this right here. It's right at those levels. So anyway, something to keep an eye on there. So good. Moody, what's going on? Yeah, Tesla. Yeah, so Tesla, just holding up really, really well here, guys. So inside day today, but a strong move, holding the cloud. It's right at the upward trend line, and then just beautiful triangle breakout today with some good volume. Look at that as it's coming out of this triangle. Volume, and then even more volume. And then once it does that, like Tesla just loves to drift its way up into the end of the day. Beautiful move on Tesla there. Good, yeah. Session, what's going on? Triple M. This thing has been so messy recently, hasn't it? Just even its move down was blocked because everybody's expecting it to go up for their face mask manufacturing, right? And then you got this trend line right here that we're below, and it's just kind of triangle to the cloud. It gapped down yesterday and kind of gapped up today. It's just been so blah. It's been tough. So it's at some cloud resistance right there. Zoom inside day today, so definitely keep an eye on that one as it's holding that prior inside day level. Coke struggled the last couple days, and now it gave you a little inside day today. We're about to get a death cross here to the 8 and 21. So keep an eye on that one in case it breaks that inside day low. BBY. Okay, so a little Best Buy right here, yeah. Kind of downtrending right here. It looks a lot like every other stock, right? It's kind of like getting real compressed right here into the cloud. So just be careful with that one on a red day there. But keep an eye on its behavior at the cloud. And then IBM. Yeah, decent little gap up today, but couldn't, just basically resisted by the cloud as well. So very, very similar setups across the board. So I don't know. For me, I would expect, intuition would be like, yeah, we're at the cloud, probably going to bounce down off of it. But anything could happen, if the market gets over its trend lines, right? So good stuff. Gary, what's going on? Yeah, let's take a look. So Boeing. Yeah, so Boeing, I think, is getting ready for something, right? Very, very tight range days right here, right? We had this upward channel, right? It couldn't hold that yesterday. It gapped up today, kind of was expecting that because it was such a low volume day yesterday. And we actually had even lower volume today. So I want to see some more volume come in this one. I'd like to see it get below this 132.50 level and see if we can get this thing maybe on a potential short area. But it's just been kind of chopping around in this mess right here for a while. So anyway, drama stock, eventually it might move. So good. Yeah, and Tesla, yeah, I just checked out Tesla Moody for you. So good. Utubio Day, what's going on? Let's take a look at Diz. Yep. So Diz basically just needs Mandalorian to come back out again because this thing's just been blah. They've been doing a lot of adjustments, right? They've been reducing their park staff and trying to make new lower employee, cutting costs and all that stuff. So I don't know. It's just in this blah right now. We got this kind of triangle type formation going on. Right, so it's just kind of trapped in this range right now. So, and with some really narrow range days. So it's a tough one to trade. It's tough to trade anyway for the most part. But let's see if we can give some sort of setup, or maybe it'll give us some news or something like that. But again, it's probably gonna be out of play until earnings, and then we'll see what it does. Where it gaps to. Good. And Nevin, yeah, we looked at Microsoft for you earlier, so hopefully you caught that. Baggage DPC is up 10 points after hours. Nice, and Plywood plus minus 39 after hours. I know, it's amazing, right? For pizza, you gotta love it. And Moody, yeah, definitely Tesla. Yeah, we looked at that for sure. Baguette, Shop, and Netflix, same sandwich hot dog pattern. Can you share what that implies on a 1 year, 1 day? Yeah, so let's take a look here. So Shop. Okay, so right now Shop is an inside day, right? So, but yeah, you've got a green day today. So yeah, so you got a big hot dog right here. So what happened is, so here's your bun, here's your other bun, and here's your hot dog, right? So basically what it is a reversal of a reversal. Right, so here's your first reversal right here, reverse back up right here. So if we break over today's highs, we may get some more upside movement on Shop. And then Netflix as well gave you that. This one didn't quite do a hot dog day. It did a slippery hot dog yesterday, right? But based on earnings right here. So you have your meat here and your bread in the middle, right? And then it kind of reversed off of that. But right now, it's basically just the your lower shadows here holding the EMA so far. For the most part, I would maybe Netflix might wait a couple days, tag your moving average, then try to go up off of that. That's kind of one possibility. So Thomas, what's going on? Yeah, Boeing. Again, same thing with Boeing. It's looking really, really weak, but there's a lot of decreasing volume on the weakness. Right? So I'd like to get bearish on it because I like how we engulfed yesterday's candle, but we just had no volume on it today. So it's just kind of chopping around here. But again, earnings are coming up pretty soon on it, so probably going to wait till after that. The area, yeah, Boeing was weird. Yeah, calls were going up in the last 2 hours, but the price went. I know, isn't that just crazy? It's because we're getting some volatility coming up, for earnings. So it's that goofy, IV, right? So if you go here, if I just go ahead and put up the IV on this one, let's see. So imp volatility, right? You can see, like, it's just been, the volatility is just getting high here, just kind of hanging out. In this high range, so you get that. You get a lot of that when these earnings start to come up. Okay, so that's pretty much one of the main reasons there, because of the potential earnings volatility. So, and then when it goes down too, right, and volatility is high, that increases volatility as well, and that affects your calls too. Exactly. Good. Cool one. Yeah, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's take a look. So Planet Fitness, PLNT. So yeah, it's hanging in there a little bit, right? I mean, we got decent candle today, decreasing volume, and we're still basically in this chop zone right here. So just kind of range bound right now on Planet Fitness. So again, this is not typically a huge mover, right? It did move down on Corona, and then they were talking about opening gyms up again. It kind of did a little bit, but really didn't get any follow through on that. So I would say most people didn't cancel their Planet Fitness memberships. Maybe some did, but I guess most people figure like eventually this thing's going to be over with, right? So Fortinet though, inside day, holding the 50 moving average after a nasty candle yesterday. So just keep an eye on that one, right? It's breakdown below the inside day might just find some support at the 50 MA, and then AMD inside day as well, right? So it had really a great intraday trading opportunity today. It just was a nice breakout here. This is a great outside bar right here over all the pre-market highs, the 15 orb highs, and the high of the day, and right there. And then it just got some nice follow through the upside on AMD. I mean, it wasn't a barn burner, but it was still a nice little breakout move right there on the intraday. So good, yeah. ESTOPS, so shop possible short. Let's see how it handles today's lows. Right, so if it breaks down below there, we might see a little bit move down. Might want to test a couple of these levels, like probably just open. Even if it gets really weak, it could try to get to the other lows. So yeah, possible. The Nest, yeah, TDOC hanging in there. Lots of inside days today, right? I mean, because of just the chop, right? So inside day right here. Generally it's up because of the gap. So just kind of see how it holds that right there. I mean, kind of got that hot dog pattern there. So see if we can break over today's highs and maybe make another stab at those recent highs. Right, and then ATVI. Okay, yeah, so good hammer today. Again, ATVI is just kind of in this channel right now, so yeah, so it might work its way up and try to get up to that 70 level. Good. Today, Lulu. Lulu, yeah, compressed inside day, right? Nice candle here, right? Kind of got bulls trapped in that one, and it's kind of drifting down a little bit. I like how the 50 is kind of flattening out this. This inside day is really, really compressed right here, so maybe a breakout to the upside could work on filling, closing gaps and try to get above those levels there. Lulu's a tricky one to swing, especially on this type of setup right here. I wouldn't really mess with it, but maybe intraday we could get anything. And then inside day is like, so you have a candle right here, right? And then the next day's candle, this candle is inside. It's contained completely by that range. So see how that I color them all yellow, so it's easy to identify. But see how that candle here, the high of that is above the high of this, and the low of this is above the low of this. So that goes inside that candle. So what that means is that price is basically finding some indecision. Right, but oftentimes when it breaks, right, you can get some movement to the upside here. Inside day, and then it broke down, and then down. Inside day up, and it worked its way up. Inside day down, and it's kind of chopped around. Inside day up, worked its way up a little bit. So it doesn't necessarily have to move, but it does show that price was couldn't figure out which way it wanted to go, and oftentimes when it breaks out, it gives a little bit more movement on it. Work to 30. Yeah, so here's that triangle right there. So we're right in the middle of the triangle right here, right? So sort of in the center line right there. So so it could be interesting. Yeah, it could work its way up if it breaks above today's highs, right? Inside day, right? So see if it works its way up here. But it's kind of hanging out in the lows right there. The 80 MA is curling down, so just be careful with that, right? So it's kind of sandwiched here, but between a lot of moving averages, kind of blah. So Adobe. Yeah, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but yeah, so Adobe inside day right here, had a weekday yesterday, but it did pull up pretty decently, so it's hanging in there at the cloud. Just watch it's coming over that cloud canyon, right? And then AMT strong, it's right in the, it looks like it's right at the top of a potential bull flag right here. So look at that, if it gets gets bullish tomorrow, right? We can take a look at that going into that. So looking pretty good there. Good in the nest. Do you believe in the too many eyes syndrome on work? Maybe. I think everybody's been looking at it. And besides, like, work is just like blah. I mean, it's a tough one to trade. I mean, occasionally I'll give a setup, but it gets really wicky, right? I mean, it's just not fun really to be in. I mean, occasionally you get a couple moves like this candle right here is good as we got out of this triangle, right? And that gave a move up. It was a 1 day move. So I mean, it's just it can be kind of blah. Even the down move was blah. So it's just a tough one. You got to monitor it all the time, and it's just all over the place. And even the spreads are kind of blah. So yeah, maybe it's too many eyes, but it's also just a $20 stock, right? So it doesn't really get the type of mega moves. And the spreads are bad for it too on the options. So it's just like, bleh. Yeah. Merck inside day. So you see chop across the board today, but yeah, right there at the clouds to see if that breaks one way or the other. So good stuff, guys. Well, appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. Really love the questions and the chart requests. So definitely appreciate that. If you're new here, definitely click subscribe on YouTube. And even if you're not new here, please click the like button. We always appreciate that. And then also be sure to check out the links in the description. If you're finding us on YouTube, you can find our Twitter page there. We put lots of cool stuff out there. Yeah, TTD, real nice one too. Got above that trend line. I know y'all were asking about it yesterday, so it did get back above that trend line. So an epic move on that one. And then I think we also got asked about like Now too yesterday, as well. So Now didn't do as much as TTD, but yeah, pretty epic moves for sure. So good stuff. All right, guys. Well, thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. Have a great night. We'll catch you guys tomorrow night as we wrap up this series. We'll have another good topic on gaps, and we'll get back at chart requests and see how we finish up the week. So have a great night. We'll see you guys on YouTube in the morning. We post it on Twitter too. We'll see you in the morning at the Good Morning Market Prep, where we do a prep for the market and see what's setting up in the morning. And hope to see you guys there. So have a great night, everybody. Stay healthy, and remember your risk first, and stay safe so you can stay in the game.